I want to go to another issue. Earlier this week, here at the Republican National Convention in Tampa, 2 attendees were removed for an incident that targeted an African-American camerawoman. Her name, Patricia Carroll. She's with CNN. According to witnesses, the delegates threw nuts at her, shouting, "This is how we feed the animals." She did an interview with Journalism, which is a website, on Thursday, and she said, "I hate that it happened, but I'm not surprised at all." So last night, I went over to the scene of the incident. I went to the Alabama delegation.
In front of the Alabama delegation, the whole convention is chanting USA as Olympians have just come to the podium. I want to ask them about what happened with the black camerawoman just 2 days ago from CNN, who was standing here, and two of the Alabama delegates threw peanuts at her and said, "This is how we feed the animals." Let me ask what happened. Sir, what is your name?
My name's Tom Powers.
Are you a delegate here?
Yes.
From the state of?
Pardon?
From the state of?
Alabama.
I was wondering if you could tell me what happened here a few days ago with the African-American camerawoman from CNN who was pelted with peanuts.
The only thing I read was in the paper, so I wasn't familiar with what it is. I think it's something that people were not thinking about what they were doing. I think that afterwards they were trying to apologize to that person. Sometimes your actions speak louder than words, and those actions were not appropriate for what they did.
So those
I think they were seen to be apologetic, but sometimes apologies don't go very far when you do something to somebody to degrade them or speak lowly to them.
There's a lot of discussion about the 1% and the 99%, and that Mitt Romney represents the 1%. But when it comes to African-American support, what's remarkable, what we perhaps have not seen before, is that the polls show he represents 0%.
I think, anytime that if I had my best friend there and supporting him and doing that, I think that, you're looking at somebody that's outside of what, the norm. And say, for instance, Obama, and I was a black man that was coming in, sure, I would, support him 100%. But I think a lot of blacks today are just a little disappointed in what Obama's done. It's not that, I'm mad at him or whatever. It's just the policies that he's tried to do just haven't worked.
And yet, even still, the polls show that Romney has 0% of the black vote.
Well, I wouldn't say that. We got a lot of black representatives here in our caucus in Alabama. And you think about, 10 to 15, 20 years ago, that's unheard of. And we're looking at 20% here in Alabama. So if you're saying 0, and I'm looking at 20% here in Alabama, how can you say that it's 0%? I think the polls maybe were different, and you're looking at people in a black neighborhood that's very educated, and they're in the middle class or upper class. They're looking for a financial gain, and for that, like that. They're looking for that thing. Now, if you're looking for somebody, black, white, whatever, that's in the lower income, and my check's coming from the government. My income's coming, and my father, that's how he got his check, and I've got my check now, and the government's going to give me a check. Why should I go out and try to find a job? And I've become dependent on that thing.
But when you say 20% of the black population would support Romney, where are African Americans here?
They're like their alternates and like that. They weren't, now we have several, George and the man right there, which is, it's right there. So
it's a large delegation, and I see one African American.
We have 50 delegates. We probably have 3, 4 delegates, either alternates or regular delegates.
Tom Powers, an Alabama delegate, speaking on the floor of the last night of the Republican National